Hello, 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 and happy Thursday on December 23rd, 2021. Let me just adjust here. How is everybody on Thursday evening, the eve before Christmas Eve? Before I dive in and introduce myself, just want to do some housekeeping, make sure I'm where I need to be. As let's check it in, see if I'm on Twitter. Yes, I am. So for those watching on my Twitter page, feel free to comment, let me know what you think, and hopefully you had an opportunity to maybe friend me on Facebook. I'll talk about that in a little while. Moving into my YouTube page, hello, having to find where I am. There I go. Perfect. Hello. There we go. Perfect. Exactly where I need to be. Those who are tuning in on my YouTube channel, feel free to like and subscribe so you know when I go live. And share. And we're going to end up on the final platform where I'm hoping and praying that all my friends are on right now. All right, here we are. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Want to give a shout out to Robin. Then we have Demetrius. Hello. We have Diana. Hello, hello, hello. So let me do my quick introduction. So you know, Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck. And I'm super excited to be here with you tonight. Hopefully, you had an opportunity to choose a card from earlier today or even last night for that matter. Know that the Expand Your Intuition card spread shows up on usually Wednesday night, so you have all day Thursday to choose that one card that might be resonating with you, and then come join me as you are tonight live, sometime around 9 p.m. or after. Tonight, I think I'm actually on time. Wow. All things are possible. So hopefully you've had a chance to choose that card. If you did and you are watching on my Facebook page, please go ahead and put in the comment that card number that you chose, 1, 2, or 3. If you're watching on YouTube or my Twitter page, know that you can join my Facebook page. All you have to do is find me under Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. Now, this is going to sound a little odd, but if you happen to be male and looking to friend me on my Facebook page, I might be declining your request only because you might not be showing up on other people's pages that I'm friends with. And I'm not sure if you are actually really requesting to be friends or if it's some sort of scam. So if you happen to be trying to friend me on my Facebook page and you are a man and I'm declining your request, I'm not really sure how to go about that in reference to getting you onto my page, but there are a lot of scams out there lately, so you can never be too sure and too safe for that matter. But anybody else who's interested in finding me on Facebook, you can do that under Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And I'm guessing if you're supposed to be a friend of mine and happen to be a man looking to friend me, one way or another, it will happen. But in any case, I'm just going to show the cards again, the back of the cards, for those of you who might not have had an opportunity to choose that one card, and here's your opportunity to do that now. So the very first card, so if this is resonating with you, go ahead and put that in the comments. And if you are watching on the YouTube or Twitter, feel free to place that in the comments on the Twitter page. And YouTube, I'm not quite sure how you can respond, but I'm sure you know how, so go ahead and do that. Second card, and the third card, and the third card. So I just want to make sure I laid up these cards correctly, and I'm not 100% sure if I did, so I am going to go and peek at something. So give me a minute just to check out some housekeeping again. I will be right back. I'm not leaving here. I'm just leaving off of my Facebook page just to make sure. Yeah, I had a feeling I did that wrong. Okay. All right, so here we are. I am back again. Hello. And for those of you who are here again, let me know that you are here by saying hi. Show me some hearts. Show me some thumbs up. It's so interesting. I just realized that, let's see, it's showing me here on my page here, learning something new tonight. I have 1 watching from my Facebook page, and I guess I have 3 watching from my YouTube channel. Could that be possible? How fun is that? Anyway, now I have 2 watching from my Facebook page, although I only see 2 on my Facebook page. Anyway, so let's dive in. My goal is to keep this about no more than 30 minutes. Of course, though, each and every one of you are going to determine whether or not it goes longer than 30 minutes based on your activity. I love activity. I love hands-on. I love when you ask questions. I love when you play. And that's what this is all about. It's allowing me to provide insight, inspiration, and using my intuition to provide you some insight based on whatever's going on in your world. So, when I tag onto the card that you've chosen, let me know that you chose that card and let me know how it resonates with you. So we have that interaction with each other. And I am taking a peek on my phone to see who is responding, who is connecting with me, and I will give shout out shortly. So again, Robin, we say hi, Robin. You said I froze for a minute. I think it's better now. Every once in a while it will freeze. Internet. We can't help that. So here we go. We're going to start with the very first card. So if you've chosen the very first card, this is for you. The card is success. So when we think about, we are literally on Christmas, the eve before Christmas Eve, and we literally have, less than 7 days of 2021 left. So 2 questions here. How successful was 2021 for you? And how are you setting your intentions for 2022 for success to show up for you? What is your feelings about success? Do you twinge when you think about being successful? Does it make you really nervous so you try not to be successful? Believe it or not, there's plenty of people out there that really shy away from being successful because of whatever negative effects it might have on them. But that's what the card is. It's asking you, how successful were you in 2021? And have you set out your intentions to be successful in 2022? And know that if you've chosen this card, know that success is definitely on your GPS for 2022. All you need to do is go ahead and implement it and believe that you are successful, because that's half of the process. It's about asking, but then the most important part about it is believing that you are. And as long as you believe that you are successful, the success will show up. You'll be open to receiving. The number 8 is all about your karmic lesson behind success. So if in a past life, you were very successful in the past life, maybe in this lifetime, it's about being sort of in the middle, balancing it out. Or maybe in a past life, you lived in poverty, and this lifetime, you are living in success. So that karmic lesson. That 8 is also about balancing, learning to balance success, how to be successful without having to overwork yourself. There's this whole philosophy behind success means you have to work really, really hard to be successful. Well, that number 8 is reminding you to bring the balance into play. Bring the balance into play. Let's talk about the chakra here, solar plexus. Solar plex. In regards to, do you worry about money? Do you worry about how successful you need to be? Do you worry about being successful? Do you have doubts? Do you sit back and say, well, it's I don't ever feel successful, or it's not going to happen for me? That's your doubts. And if so, reverse that. Shift your mindset around success, and trust, and believe and have faith that if you believe you're going to be successful, you're going to be successful. I don't know if any one of you caught my live earlier today based on me going to look for Santa Claus in my town. There's usually a specific spot where they do a Santa's workshop, and you can almost every time this year find Santa at his workshop, and he's there certain hours throughout the day. And I decided I was going to go today, got my hat in the car, and went over to it, and realized that Santa wasn't there, nor was any of his elves, and there was toys all over the place on the floor, but no Santa. But then all of a sudden I hear from my ear the sound of ho, 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 and I looked and I seen, oh my God, there was Santa. So I truly believed that I was going to see Santa tonight. And because I believed it, I truly believed it, universe had to make me receive it. So I did. And the same thing with success when we think about it. So if you've chosen that very first card, know that success is definitely on your GPS for 2022. And I'd like you to review how successful you were in 2021. Now, I just want to go and say hi to those who are chiming in again. We have Christine here with us now. Hello, Christine. For those who are chiming in on my Facebook page, since that's where I can see right now, let me know what card you've chosen, and let me know if the card that I've just finished reading resonates with you. Now, of course, if you're just tuning in, you might have missed the very first card I just read, so you'll have to come back and watch on the replay, which is awesome because it's playing everywhere. I am on Twitter, I'm on my YouTube channel, and I'm here with you as well. So perfect, perfect, perfect. Moving into the second card. Second card happens to be in reverse. Now, those of you who might be new to watching and joining me, reverse cards mean two things. One, you really need to pay attention to this card if you've chosen it. If it resonates with you while I'm reading it, but you didn't choose it, pay attention. And two, the chakra itself needs your attention because it might be a little stagnant. So let's talk about the affirmation, which is communication. And it's in reverse. So how well are you communicating? Or are you not communicating? Is there somebody that you've decided to stop talking to for whatever the reasons are, or that person stopped talking to you, so there's no dialogue going on? Well, this is a time to let go of that grudge, is what I just heard, and allow yourself to step into this conversation. Maybe it's also in reference to connecting with spirit as well. Now, for those of you who may not know this, Mercury is in Capricorn energy right now. Mercury is our planet of communication, and Capricorn is our zodiac sign of doing the work. So this is really the time to do the work on communicating. What I'm hearing, which is really weird, is spice up your communication. I don't know why I heard that, but that's what I just heard. Spice up your communication. Get that communication flowing. 1 and 2, when we think about that 12 energy, in numerology, the number 12 carries a very, very suspicious energy, which is like a full circle experience. So everything has gone full circle. It's a completion. So there's a conversation that needs to be completed, and it's time to have that conversation, but have it with compassion, which is the heart center. The heart center, compassion and calmness, joy. Conversations does not have to rip the person apart. The conversation could be very kind and very compassionate and still get across what you need to say. 1 and 2 is 3. So when we think about the number 3 in numerology, 3 is all about communication, creating, teaching, and learning. So perhaps this might be a really great time to learn how to communicate in a different way. Learn how to communicate the best way possible for people to understand you. And also learn how to listen. Sometimes our conversations are not about expressing right away. Sometimes it's really about listening, sitting and listening to what the other person has to say, and being mindful of what they have to say, and not necessarily responding right away, but more about reflecting. So before you respond to a conversation, take a moment to think about it and really let it settle in so you can really understand what that person is talking about. So that 3 energy is about communicating, expressing, listening, learning, and also teaching. So there might very well be some teaching going on. But remember, it's in reverse. So you might be resisting the fact that you have something to teach. Maybe you're in the process of creating this workshop, this new class, and you keep resisting it. You keep putting it off. This is an opportunity. We're moving into a brand new year. It's time to start stepping into that teacher that you are, is what I just heard. I'm going to give a shout out to Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Spice it up. Love it. Yes, 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 yes. All right, we're going to move into card number 3. And I'm going to come back and check out some of the comments. So again, just to remind you, for those who are just tuning in, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, or you're here with me on my Facebook page, please let me know how these are resonating with you. And if you don't know where to comment, especially on my Twitter, you can put the comments in the Twitter. I'll come back and read them. I have no idea where you would comment on YouTube, but I'm sure I will find them if you do comment. Feel free to leave emails as well. If there's a comment or a question that you have and you want to send that to my email, the email is scrolling right on the bottom, and that's healingwithin76@gmail.com. For those of you who are watching on my Facebook page, feel free to leave your comments in the Facebook comments, and I will read them in a little while. So I have a whole bunch of you here. I'm really excited about that. So third card that's showing up. Loving this card, and I'm sure you're going to as well. So when we think about this card, it's about self-love. Now, if there is any time we have been emphasizing about self-love, this is definitely the time. Now, if you've been following me on any of my lives or my TV show or whatever have you, I've been doing a lot of chatting about self-love and Capricorn energy with Venus. Venus right now is in Capricorn energy, and by the way, it's in retrograde. So this is definitely a time to start indulging in self-love. So if you've chosen the third card, this is your reminder. It's important to indulge in self-love. Self-care is so important, such as, for example, making sure you get your manicures and pedicures, just to make sure your nails stay healthy. Make sure you go and get your hair done for you so you feel good. If you like to wear makeup, put it on. If you like to wear the lipstick, put it on. If you like to look good in your clothes, put them on. Do not spend your time sitting in PJs, especially if you're working from home. Put on the clothes, dress up for you. This is not about dressing up for somebody else. It's about dressing up for yourself, because when you feel good in what you wear, that shows up in confidence. So self-love, however that looks like, a bubble bath, walk in nature, having nutrients in your life, whatever self-love looks like, it's time to do that. Now let's talk about the chakra here, and then we'll get to the number. The chakra is about getting rooted, getting grounded, because sometimes we get overwhelmed, we get distracted, and we don't wake up in enough time to prepare. So we'll just throw our hair up in a bun, we'll throw on the sweatpants, and we'll throw on just some sloppy shirt, and you're not grounded. So ground yourself when you first get up. Get yourself in order. Get yourself in organization, and plan out so you can have that self-love. So grounding is extremely important, especially with Venus in retrograde in Capricorn energy. So as we talk about Capricorn energy, let's dive into that number 7 and 3. 7 is all about balancing your energy, which means going in within and sitting quietly and connecting with yourself on a deeper level, not on a superficial level, on a higher consciousness level. When you sit and connect from within, you get to connect with yourself. Now, I like to say there are probably 2 versions of yourself you're going to connect with. And those 2 versions look like your inner child and your higher self. So that's 3 relationships. The relationship you have with you as a human, your inner child, and your higher self. And you know how much insight you can gain from both? So it's really important to take the time to go within and check in. Check in on that inner child. Check in on your higher self for guidance and support. Both versions of you can provide a lot of insight, which brings us to number 3, that communication. Being able to communicate with your inner child and asking your inner child what he or she needs so they can feel wanted and deserved and appreciated. And then connecting with your higher self to ask your higher self, what would you do in this situation? For example, I was working with a client today, and some sort of issue that she had going on, which I'm not going to share. I had her connect with her higher self, and I asked her, ask your higher self what your higher self would do in this situation. And the guidance that her higher self provided for her was so amazing that she wrote it down, and she's going to implement that information because it came from her higher self. When you actually listen, pay attention to what your higher self is guiding you to do, you cannot go wrong, because your higher self, believe it or not, knows more than you do. Your higher self knows exactly the game plan. Your higher self knows the blueprint. Your higher self knows exactly what direction you need to go. So you need to learn how to connect with your higher self so you can know exactly, should you go right? Should you go left? Should you go straight? Your higher self will guide you. So that's that 3 energy, to learn to communicate with higher self and your inner child. Now, when we talk about 7 and 3, it's a 10. Now, in numerology, the number 10, 1 and 0. The 1 is about doing things a whole new, different way. It's a new version of you, so self-love has to be different than it's ever been before. That 0 is reminding you that you have a lot of choices and there's potential in self-love. Now, let's bring that 0 and 1 together to get your 10 in association to astrology, which is what we're going to talk about, Capricorn. Back to doing the work. When we think about Capricorn season, which is what we're in right now, and we have several planets, 4 to be exact, we have the Sun, we have Venus, we have Mercury, we have Pluto, all in Capricorn energy right now. Capricorn is associated with work, the work that you do, the work that you get paid for, whether you get a paycheck from a company or you're getting paychecks from clients, the work that you do is Capricorn energy. Capricorn is associated with success. Success. It's associated with achievements, awards, accomplishments. How you see yourself when you work. How you want others to see you as you work. Capricorn is also associated with our fathers, our father figures. How you look up at your father, how you respect your father, and how you respect others as fathers, and the masculine energy, the action, the activity of acting, the activity of doing. Because when we think of masculine energy, it's the action that we are doing when we think about that Capricorn energy. Capricorn's associated again with the physical work that you do, the spiritual work that you are doing within yourself, the emotional work that you are working on, and the work that you are doing with your body in reference to having a healthy body, being successful in your body is that 10 energy. So all of our cards really do come together. When we think of number 8, it's about letting go and allowing yourself to bring in some new things so you can have more success. That transformation. So those are your 3 cards. I would love to know the card that you chose with the insight and inspiration I provided. Did it resonate with you? I'd like for you to put in the comments. Put down yes, show me some thumbs up, some hearts. Let me know that the card resonated with you. Now, if the card that you didn't choose, let me know if that resonated with you as well. Let me know if all 3 cards resonated with you. Now, I like to believe that once I do provide the insight, inspiration, and intuition, all the cards come together and tell a story. And I do believe this one does. I believe that this one tells an extreme story in reference to that how we communicate with one another leads to the success that we have. But it also is about the self-love. So when we have self-love, when we love ourselves unconditionally, success shows up and communication is powerful. It's very important to do this work this week. Remember that the card reveal is about reminding you to do your work. And the work that we have to do this week from now through next Thursday is working on the root chakra, working on the solar plex, and working on the high heart. So you can be in alignment to the success, and you can align yourself to more self-love and powerful communication with self and others. And remembering when we communicate with self, we're communicating with the inner child and the higher self. And then you gain all the spiritual wisdom that you could possibly have, and also start to heal that inner child. Because we all have inner child wounds. There's not an adult in this world right now that does not have some sort of wound that we are working on that needs a little healing. After all, that's why we're all here. If every one of us were riding at the highest frequency possible and had nothing to heal from, there would be no reason for you to be here. That's just the bottom line to it all. Every one of us has a contract, and every one of us has something that we are stumbling over. And that is the part of why we are here. That is the part of being human. We are supposed to be stumbling over something. So this way here, we can stumble out of it and transition to a higher vibration. And as we move into the higher vibration, as we become more 5D radiation, so to speak, we will evolve and transition back home. Some will do it sooner than others, but as long as you're here, you have a pulse, your journey is meant to stumble over different things. stumble over people, stumble over contracts, stumble over all different types of things so you can learn about yourself on a deeper level. And whatever it is that you're stumbling over, enjoy the process. Hello, Norma. Enjoy the process and recognize that you are here on a journey. And whether or not you will, and I'm going to sit back and say it this way. As long as you're here paying attention to the insight that I'm providing, you have already processed the awakening part. You are awakened. You are listening. You are curious. Now, those of you might be new to my page. You finally found the page for the first time, or you stumbled on it accidentally. I don't believe in accidents. I believe the universe brought you here. And if you were here for the first time that you just stumbled in, this is your time to start to wake up. This is your time to tap in and get connected with your intuition, because that's what it is. It's intuition. Every one of us has it. It sits in our solar plexus. When we sit there and we go off and ask our best friend or our therapist or whatever for guidance, really reality of it all is if you take time to ground your energy, take time to breathe, and take time to tap in and ask your higher self what your higher self would be doing, you'll get some amazing insight and you have all the wisdom within. And that's really what it is. And when you start to follow that wisdom that comes from your higher self and not your ego, remember the ego is what trips us up. Our ego is what's going to help us stumble. When we are listening to our ego, when we are not doing something that we theoretically should be doing, such as perhaps we're holding on to a job that we should have let go of months ago or years ago. We're in a relationship where we're not communicating and it's really time to start communicating. This is where the ego starts to trip you up. Because you're listening to your ego, you're not connecting with your higher self. The minute you make that switch to connect with higher self, you'll start to gain the wisdom. And then all of a sudden, it's like something shifts, someone turns on the light, and now all of a sudden you got this amazing insight and you're ready to transition and things just start to fall into place. It's like that puzzle that just comes to place and everything becomes like magic only because you started listening to your higher self and you let go of the ego. And learning to balance the two is really interesting too and important. And this is your process. This is why you're here. This is your journey. So those of you out there who are looking to rush through and not want to deal with the challenges, not want to deal with the struggles, not want to deal with the stumbles, you're missing out on your lesson. This is why you are here. This is why you've chosen this lifetime to be reincarnated. You, every one of us, you, me, and everybody else who are watching, and those who are not watching, we all chose to be here in this lifetime to learn what we are learning through everything that's showing up. Every situation is a lesson. And when we can learn and understand that everything's a lesson, nothing is permanent. So everything that we're all experiencing with the pandemic, it's not a permanent thing. This is not going to last forever. It's going to last a chapter. And that chapter could be 2 years, 3 years, whatever it might be, however long it takes you, takes me and the other person to understand for ourselves, because it's not going to be the same for you as it for me. Every one of us are going to get a different lesson from this experience. And when you can look at it just as that, then you learn something. But if you approach this pandemic with fears and worries and doubts and you're keeping yourself all stuck up and home, you're not learning your lesson. There's a deeper lesson that you really do need to go within. And you really need to reflect and quiet down and ask your higher self. So higher self, what am I supposed to be learning with this experience right now? Because every experience is just a lesson in the book. It's a chapter. That chapter could have 365 pages in it, such as a year's time. It could have 600 pages in it. It could have 900 pages in it. And every chapter is a lesson. And when you learn the lesson and you understand the lesson, you understand the process, then you don't have to continue to read that lesson. You move on to the next one. And then you move on to the next one and to the next one. And your life starts to evolve. And as your life starts to evolve, success shows up. Positive communication shows up, and more self-love shows up. And it's the work. It's that Capricorn energy. We are all here to do the work. There's not a person on this earth who has a pulse that is not here to do work. Every one of us are here to do work. Every one of us. And I don't know why I'm being guided to share this, but even our fur babies. So those of you who have dogs and cats or birds or whatever it is you have, those animals are here to help you do your work. So pay attention and be more curious. Be what's the word I'm looking for? Be adventurous in reference to learning something about yourself every single day and not being in your fears and your doubts and your judgment and your worries and your grief and your anger and your frustration and your negative energy. Clear all that out. So when you do, you start to feel lighter and you start to feel more at ease and you start to feel more calm and you start to feel more positive. And then joy, love, unconditional love, laughter, and happiness shows up in your world. And if each and every one of us does this, just imagine how amazing our world will become. Because we're all in this together, but we're not all doing this at the same speed. Every one of us are doing it at different speeds. You might be on chapter 2. I might be on chapter 4. The next person might be on chapter 6. We're not all on the same chapter. We're not all having the same lessons. What you are learning and what I'm learning is not the same thing. We all have a different contract. But we are all in this together, and every one of us are a mirror of each other to help us become the best version of who we are. And as long as we get guided by our higher self and tap into the inner child to help the inner child be recognized, to feel appreciated, to feel wanted, to feel loved. It's your job. It is your job to help your inner child feel loved, feel accepted, feel wanted, feel noted, feel heard. Your job. That is your job to do, to help your inner child. So if as a child you did not feel as though you were noticed, you were heard, you were wanted, you were accepted, it's your job to do that for your inner child. And your higher self will guide you with all the wisdom that your higher self has for you so you can be the best version of yourself. And that leads to success, but trusting this process. Communication is key on all levels in everything we do. Everything. Once communication gets shut down, once you are not willing to listen to someone else's point of view, and that's all it is, it's a point of view, you have shut down communication. So be open to listening to everyone's point of view. And that's all it is. It's just another person's opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but you may want to take on the opportunity of listening to it. Because they might actually say something that might ring a bell and make sense to you. And they may provide some insight that you weren't thinking about. So that communication, open it up. Start listening. Start being insightful. Start paying attention to what people say. And then you get to decide for yourself, does it resonate? Or I'm going to take this and just pin it aside. And if it ever resonates, that's great. And if not, it's not something you need to go back and give your opinion. It's not a debate. When we have conversations with people, it's not a debate. It's about learning to and agreeing to agree to disagree with one another. So someone might have a particular point of view that you may not necessarily agree with. That does not mean they are wrong, and that does not mean you are right. It just means you do not agree with their point of view, and that's it. Right or wrong doesn't matter, but communication is important. Self-love is even more important. We have to learn to love self. If we are open to receiving love from anybody, we have to be open to receiving love from self. And once you're open to receiving self-love, the love externally, oh my God, it starts to pour in because you love yourself already. So it's just going to pour in. So that's our cards for tonight, guys. It's just about 34 minutes in. And the chakras to work on for this evening, for the week, is again the root, solar plex, and high heart. Your affirmations, success, communication, and self-love. Our numbers, the number 8 all about abundance, balance, stabilization, and your karmic lesson. In astrology, it's learning to let go and bring in new, so you have a transformation. The number 12 is a full circle experience. Full circle experience, and it's a 3. It's what you are creating. So if you want to create success, it's your time to do so. 7 and 3 is a 10. It's the work that we are here to do. The physical, the emotional, the spiritual, the mental. Working on our home shelter, working on our work that we receive a paycheck from, whether it's clients or working for a company, and working on your body. And that's what we are here to do. So this week's cards were really powerful. I would love to know how this resonated with each and every one of you. Let me know if the card that you've chosen resonated with you. Let me know if all 3 cards resonated with you. And let me know if none of this resonated with you at all. Perhaps that's even happened. That you might be listening and saying, none of this makes sense to me. I'm not feeling this. Now, what I do ask that you do, if you happen to not be feeling this, if you feel like what I've just said was just a bunch of ba, 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 I want you to pin it all, reflect on it, and then maybe allow yourself just to be open to the possibility of that this might make sense at some point or another. If not tonight, maybe over the next couple of days, especially as we move out of 2021. So I am so delighted that all of you are here with me tonight, especially those of you on my Facebook page. I'm just going to give a shout out from the top to bottom and saying hello to Robin again. And we have Damaris, we have Diane, we have Christine, and we also have Lisa and Norma. So thank you all so much for being with me this evening. I thank you for your time. It is Thursday night at what is it? What time is it? It's about 9:30. So I'm going to head off for now because I have some Christmas wrapping to do for this evening. And I'm hoping that you all have a very joyful, joyful holiday weekend. Norma said all 3 cards resonated. Awesome. Enjoy whatever it is you are doing. So if you are celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you celebrated Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. And those who will be celebrating Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa. And if there's any other holiday out there that I am not familiar with, enjoy yourself. And remember, self-love, very important thing to be doing. Love yourself so much that it just pours out of you. Enjoy the rest of your night. I do look forward to connecting with you for next Thursday's Expand Your Intuition. And again, feel free to leave comments, questions at healingwithin76@gmail.com. And do know, I do believe next Thursday, the last Thursday of 2021, you can still take advantage of the $1 per minute reading, $1 per minute, a minimum of 15-minute reading. You could do that on Thursday. I have availability. If this is something that you would like to take advantage of, you would like to schedule, when you email, put in the email that you would like to schedule the $1 per minute, 15-minute reading, a 15-minute minimum, I think. You can get up to a 30-minute reading if you want. You could do an hour if you want. Whatever it is you feel you need. But next Thursday is the last day for that. And if that's something you would like to do, email healingwithin76@gmail.com. But for now, have yourself a blessed rest of the night or day wherever you are. And put in those comments wherever you are, and I will come back and respond to them. Have yourself a great, great night. Once again, if anyone is interested in taking advantage of the $1 per minute, minimum 15-minute readings, feel free to do that. The last time for that is this Thursday coming up, the day before New Year's Eve day. You could definitely take advantage. All you need to do is email healingwithin76@gmail.com, and I do accept PayPal and Venmo for those payments. Have yourself a great night. Until next time, bye-bye for now.